So I like reading romance webtoons, manhwas, fan fiction, and I do it quite often. Like, okay, they're good. Okay, there's a lot of them are really good, but then some of them are just so awful, and it will be for some of the most god awful tropes that they put in their stories. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. Some tropes and dynamics that I just can't vibe with, that are just so bad to me, and that if it's in a story, I will drop it. I'm not finishing a story with that. And the first one I'm going to talk about is oddly, I think, really hated, but is probably one of the most commonly used tropes, and that is love triangles. And I'm sorry for anybody who loves love triangles. Do you? It's obviously popular for a reason, but I cannot stand them for the life of me. Most of the time, they are so badly written. Like, they start off okay, and then at the end, it's completely bad. Like, it is awful. And they're just like so agonizing and painful to read, because you know in your heart that the other guy, who probably deserved the main character more, ends up not getting her. Or sometimes the second male lead will obviously be like the more popular pick in what people want the author to make like the actual canon couple, and they'll see that and they'll be like, how can I stray away from this? And then they will sabotage the second male lead so that we're like forced into favoring the first lead. Now, I don't know how common that is in love triangles. Okay, I try to stay away from love triangles, but when I say that, I'm talking about a specific one in mind. I just can't vibe with love triangles. I can see how they can be appealing because they're like drama filled, but me personally, I'd rather have something simple and cute than something that's like overly dramatic. Okay, the next thing I hate is more of a dynamic than it is a trope, but it's when it's a human and then an alien type creature. I feel like this could be a good premise, but half of the time, more than half of the time, they have the alien creature thing, whatever you want to call it, just the person not from Earth, be so childlike. Like, it is uncomfortable. Like, they're supposed to be new to Earth, not new to life, okay? But unfortunately, there are some where it's like an alien creature new to life and not just new to Earth. And a specific example of this is like a webtoon from a while ago. And when I read this, I was young, okay? I didn't realize how weird and freaky it was. But now that I'm older, I can say that it's weird. Eggnoid, the whole premise of that is so weird. So like, there's an egg, she has an egg, it hatches, it's a grown man. How's that possible? I don't know. I never finished it, so like, I don't know. So when this grown man comes out of this egg, he's acting like a newborn child, okay? Like, he's oblivious to almost everything. And this lady, the girl, she practically like raises him. And you're supposed to tell me that there's supposed to be romantic tension between them? That is his mother. That's what it feels like, okay? This feels like a crime. This feels like a crime is being committed. And then one where it isn't like a fresh newborn, but acts like it, is a webtoon called Down to Earth. I couldn't even finish it. I think I read like 5-10 chapters, and then I dropped it. It was so bad. I think like the only like common media of this specific dynamic that I'm like in favor for, and it's popular, is Starfire and Robin. I think that's like the only one that like makes me not uncomfortable when I witness it. Okay, so the next one is a trope, and this one's also really common, and it's common in a lot of like old-timey manhwas that take place when like royalty's still a thing, and that is the arranged marriage trope, which, okay, like some aren't awful. I think I read like one and it wasn't like terrible, but some don't even know what an arranged marriage is. Like, half the time it's not portraying an arranged marriage, which is consensual, and it's like a thing that actually happens in real life today, where it's consensual, and instead it will show a forced marriage, which is not that, okay? It's a completely different thing. And with this trope comes another trope that is really common too, and that is when they get married and then the husband cheats on her. The whole cheating trope thing is just so overused. It's so common. I think like every single royalty type manhwa always has this. It's the same premise in every single one. So like it's not inherently bad, it's just so overused. So like if you read this trope, like I don't care, none of my business. Okay, if that's what you find interesting, go for it. But I can't read more than one of this. Like it's so boring. Okay, the next trope, I don't know how popular this is now or if it's even like still popular, but it was like back then when there was like this whole emo edgy era that people were having, and that is romanticizing mental health. And what I mean by this is that they won't make like mental health inherently sexual, but what they'll do is that they'll have the main character have some like issue, right, with like their life. They'll have like depression, anxiety, whatever mental health problem that they give their main character, and then they'll find a love interest, and with this love interest apparently all of their problems will just disappear. Like it will just go away. Like that's not how it works. I think writers need to be putting their characters in therapy and not putting them with a man and saying that is what fixed all their problems. Like it's okay to have mental health be in your story, but when you make the cure for that be love, it's just stupid. It's just dumb. And then the last thing I'll be talking about is a dynamic. And this, when I talk about this dynamic, I think of one manhwa in mind, and that is bully x victim. Now you think from just hearing that this would be unpopular, but no. At one point, this was popular. This is what people wanted to read. Which makes absolutely no sense, because in what world is somebody going to fall in love with their bully? And then they'll have it be where like the bully secretly loved them. That's why they bullied them. They loved them. They didn't want to admit it. Bitch, there are other ways to go about that. And then at the end of it all, they will give them some dumb ass redemption arc and say that's it. That's what fixed it. They're together and happy. And in the specific one that I read, I don't even know how I finished it. It was so bad. Like this bully did everything in the book you can think of to this victim, and I'm just supposed to believe that they ended up together? How? And the redemption arc for the specific one, it wasn't even good. It was literally just a in tears, I'm sorry for what I did. You committed actual crimes to your love interest, and he just forgave him. That's it. He just forgave him. And what's even worse about this is that afterwards they came out with side stories, which is really common in manhwas. But in those side stories, they're still in a relationship, right? And the victim still has trauma from what his lover did to him. And they're together. How does that make sense? Oh my god, if you wake up in a cold night sweat next to your lover because of what he did to you, why the fuck are you with him? What the author should have done is not write this shit story, because it was so bad. Other than the few that I named just now, there are a lot more tropes and stuff that I just do not vibe with. Some of them being mildly bad, and then some of them being straight up criminal. But I'm not gonna talk about that all in this one video, because then it'd be too long. Okay, there's just way too many to list in one video, and I personally do not feel like talking for that long. So that is it.